Today I have a truly fantastic build. So, Tempest Strike on Arc Hunter with Combination Blow. It actually works now. It really it does. There's no more bugs, it seems honestly completely fine. And I wanted to do something based on this, but with a bit of a twist which makes it about 50% better using vexcalibur. Now you might think like, what? Really? Vexcalibur? Why this? Like, obviously it does get the damage boost from Combination Blow of 400%, which is pretty good, like see here. 2-shot on Ultimate Champion. You know, not that bad. But there's much more to it than that. The main thing I'm bothered about is the Overshield. Now this is good survivability, but it also activates the artifact perk Shield Crush. Shield Crush is whenever you have a Void Overshield or with some other effects which don't really apply to this build, any melee, either Tempest Strike or the Glaive, will do 50% more. And this 50% is multiplicative. They did a change recently where any melee boost is additive, so you have Combination Blow here 400%, you can use Spark of Feedback which is 100% if you get meleeed, and I also use Triton Vice here which is 150% but only for Glaives. So in this situation with all those active, Vexcalibur's doing 650% base. With a Void Overshield, which activates Shield Crush, 50% goes on top of all of that. So it'll be, I believe, 975. If my maths is bad, sorry, you know, whatever. But it's around there, around 1000%. But the good thing is, if you have an Overshield, then swap out Vexcalibur, the damage boost from Shield Crush will also apply to your like Tempest Strike melees, regular melees, and with this build, even the Arc Strike Super. Having a high melee stat doesn't boost supers anymore, but Shield Crush still does. They forgot about this, and you can really use it to your advantage. So as you can see here, like this is ultimate level content. I will put the modifiers on screen now. It's pretty much just some basic stuff to get to A+ rating. I didn't use any weird modifiers to make my melees do 5 times damage or anything like that. So this is effective in high level content. Also yeah, see this Unstoppable Champion. These things when you don't stun them are very hard to kill, just try it yourself. But with this, you can actually do it, which is kind of crazy. And I'm going to try and do this setup a bit different this time, kind of a like live commentary as I run through this mission. So to do that I'm just going to skip through to the next area, then I'll cover more of the actual build itself. So, same as before, we are very much focusing on Tempest Strike and the Glaive. Note that Combination Blow, once you have it stacked up, which you can do on just a few red bars easily, lasts for 20 seconds. In that time, you can refresh it to its full duration with another Tempest Strike, or you can just kind of use the Glaive in this time, and just absolutely tear through everything. Ideally you're using a bit of both so that it never fully falls off, but you know, either option is pretty much just going to one-shot most things. The actual build itself. So I went with Arc Staff because this does benefit from Shield Crush as well. Just make sure you block with a Glaive before going into Super so you have that Void Overshield. In Super your Void Overshield will get a 90% damage resistance as well because this is what a Super has. So you don't really have to worry about it falling off that much. I mean it can do, but only if you like under attack from hundreds of enemies. I use Flashbang Grenade because it can deal with 2 types of champions at once. You've got Unstoppable with the stun itself, and if you have Spark of Shock it can deal with overloads. Obviously Combination Blow, and aspects I did go with Ascension with Tempest Strike. Ascension is, you know, you can do this, you don't have to. Using Ascension between Combination Blow Tempest Strikes can be a bit awkward being airborne and then needing to slide melee. But there's also times where Ascension can be really helpful, getting a lot of jolts out, maybe getting you out of trouble, and you can also use Ascension before you go into combat to give yourself amplified whenever you want. Also it gives 3 fragment slots and the other 2 arc aspects kinda suck, so that's, you know, that's enough reason. For the fragments I went with first Spark of Resistance. This is just a definite, it's 25% damage resist. Spark of Ions can just create ionic traces with killing jolted enemies. Tempest Strike jolts everything. Good to have. Spark of Feedback is another essential. If you get meleeed, your next melee deals 100% more. We're getting meleeed pretty much all the time, so it's just a free boost of damage, why not? Spark of Shock was what allowed our grenade to stun 2 types of champions, and Spark of Ults. This one's kind of useless, but it gives plus 10 class, and when I get into stats I'll explain why class is something you just really need. So yeah, stats. First thing, melee, just go as high as possible. For me, I had 180 melee just from armor and just, a few armor mods, and then I had one font to get me to 200. Just as high as possible, for more the better. The other thing you need is 70 class. Going above 70 is completely pointless because Tempest Strike will give you 100% class energy every time, but having 70 is 100% needed as well, because this means you'll get all your class energy back every time you get a melee kill. With that, you just loop between the two, combination blow, standard stuff. For this boss fight, I'm just going to skip the first phase because, trust me, you don't want to see this. I just whiffed like 5 melees in a row. Just, yeah, bad. So for the remainder of this mission, I'll just go over some other considerations I made of this, and if anything comes up in gameplay, I'll let you know about it as well. So here, just look how fast that champion died, by the way. Ultimate difficulty. But yeah, other things I used Mint Retrograde in my primary slot because you don't actually use much glaive ammo. So double special is completely fine to use here. And I don't need to explain why Mint was my choice. It's just far better than any other option. Oh, also, another thing with Mint actually. It's still there, it's a anti-barrier weapon, but because I have the artifact mod on where rocket propelled weapons do some weird disorienting blast thingy, I'll put my name of the mod on the screen now so I forgot what it was called. That stuns unstoppable champions whenever that goes off. It doesn't say it in the perk description, but as you've just seen, it does. So you can do a 2-in-1 anti-champion with Mint if there's ever a reason to make this thing even better. But yeah, you can see I still have a lot of damage. Because I have the glaive exotic on here, it is doing more than you would normally get. Now, you don't need to use Triton Vice. I just thought it's not every day you get to use a glaive effectively, so I might as well full commit to the bit. However, probably not the actual best option you could do. You could go Raiden Flux, make your super last longer, do up to 100% more damage. You can make use of the overshield tech during super to make it do 50% more damage on top of the 100%. That'd be really, really good. The obvious one is Gifted Conviction as well. We're using Arc, we're using Ascension and Tempest Strike, so you can double dip into Gifted Conviction. This can give you up to 50% damage resist, and a lot more jolting with his little ball things it fires off everywhere. I will say though, this was solo on Ultimate, and I wasn't really that close to dying many times at all. And if I was, I could just hold block with a glaive, which is a 97% damage resist, and that was the worst melee ever. So you don't really need the damage resist Gift Conviction gives you, but it is giving you more jolt, and it is just like another layer of safety. Just finishing up here, I know I could just kill a boss, but with this mission and some of the other ones, sometimes getting an A+ rating is a bit inconvenient and you have to kill more enemies than you really want to. So here I am just milking it a little bit. I get the boss low, let more enemies spawn in, so you go over here, kill these. You do get a bit at the end extra as long as you complete it within the time window, but just to be safe I just finish off a few enemies here. When we're close enough, finish off the boss, mission's done, no deaths. Arc Hunter, pretty good. Vexcalibur actually does help a lot. You can try it without, and this build is really, really good now, just like Tempest Strike spamming. But just having an extra health bar basically, and 50% more melee damage and super damage, and your glaive itself just kind of pops off. It's really fun, and it's not giving up effectiveness. I'd say this might be just even better than base. Thank you for watching.